Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli. Go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, to see a current list of my offerings, including my new webinar, Unleash Your Money Magnet. And definitely sign up for my free email newsletter while you're there and become part of my community. So what do we have going on for Sag? This is our report for Sagittarius for August 2015. And we have all kinds of things going on in August. We also have things going on in September that are affecting us in August. So we'll just go piece by piece and talk about the energies at play. So there's an exciting time for everyone. I think anything going on with Jupiter is always exciting. But Jupiter is Sagittarius's ruling planet. So we have to pay special attention. I say we because I'm a Sag too. We have to pay special attention to whatever Jupiter is doing, because however it can affect people, it can affect us even more. So on August 11th, we end our roundabout 1 year Jupiter in Leo time frame, and then we move into Jupiter in Virgo. Now really, even though late middle and late degree placements, or people with their birthdays before December 12th are going to be the ones that are starting to experience this first. So the sooner your birthday is in the sign of Sag, so November born first, and then the first 12 days in December, and then the last end of the sign, that's how we segment our early, middle, and late divisions. So only really the early Sag placements are going to have the effects of Jupiter moving into Virgo be readily apparent right away. August 11th, as soon as Jupiter goes into Virgo, and even for the past several months, you would start feeling this brewing, this great expander moving into your house of career and work and life purpose. For you middle degree placements, so we'll say, the first 10-ish days of December, you will be experiencing this next. This will take several months to start really cooking up for you. And then later degree placements, you're not going to have Jupiter in your 10th house until next year, well into next year, like towards next summer. Why is this? This is because there's 30 degrees in a sign. And it's kind of like, it makes me think of when I lived in Sedona, Arizona. There was live music that would play at 2 locations that were down the block from me. And so from my yard, even from my house, I could hear the live music. So that's kind of like a late degree placement as far as events that are occurring in a certain timeline. So it was affecting me, I could hear it, but it wasn't like being right there at the location with a front seat to the live music. And that's what it's like. So people with their placements in late degree Sag, which, I'd say just start being alert about this if your birthday's around December 12th and after, or if you have around 20 degrees or after as your Sagittarius placement, that's a late degree placement. And really, you grouping of people would be really good to also listen to the Capricorn report, because late degree placements of Sagittarius are going to have very similar information to the early Capricorn placement. So when you listen to the Capricorn video every month, then whenever I say early Caps, that's also having some energy for late degree Sages. So this is like you're in the backdrop, things are happening, you can hear the music in the distance, but you have different things going on right now, okay? So for the early people, early placements, Jupiter, our planet, the great expander, the great benefic, the great bringer of luck and growth, is going to be starting a year accentuating your career, work, and life purpose. And this can bring in multiple streams of income. This can bring in expansion and recognition in your current job. This can bring in, like I said, multiple things going on. You could have your job and then you start making money with other things. It's not a time to be limiting yourself. It's a time to be going for everything, because what can happen in that year is truly extraordinary. If you are a person who has done business a certain way and it's been working okay, this could be your time, the best year in 12 years, for 12 years, to go to the next level, take your business to the next level. In many cases, this is going to involve taking your non-internet based business into also being on the internet. I can't tell you how many people I have seen who have like a storefront or a building in a typical way we think of a business. and their business is not doing as well as it could if it were a front for an internet-based business, so that you're making money through the internet, which will help you to keep your dream alive of having this storefront. Just be clever, be open, and think about all the ways that you can do this. So for instance, I had some friends who had a coffee shop, and it's really hard to make money at a coffee shop and with a small cafe. And so an example there would be they grind their own coffee, they sell the coffee on the internet. They have an internet-based coffee business with this special roasting, of beans, whatever goes on. I don't drink coffee, so I don't really know all what makes it different or special, but something like that. Then they have income coming in that helps to fuel continuing the storefront and the community place that they like to have. So be thinking about things like this. And if you're a middle degree placement, like I said, it's going to take a little bit longer to warm up for you. And if you're a late degree placement, this is coming next year. You're still in the phase, late degree placements, where you're about to embark on having Jupiter accentuate your 9th house, which is the house that is ruled by Jupiter. So what that means is you're about to experience what the early and middle degree placements have already just been through. It's like staggered. And what is that? What that is that Jupiter, the great expander, the bringer of luck, the bringer of optimism, is about to move through the house that it rules. Each of the 12 houses has a different sign ruling it. So 12 signs, 12 houses. And then there's a ruler for the different houses and the different signs. So Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Jupiter and Sagittarius rule the 9th house. So the early and middle degree placements just went through this time of Jupiter expanding their 9th house. Late degree placements are about to experience this. And the 9th house, Jupiter is so happy in the 9th house because it's its own house. It's like how you feel at home when you're all comfy and you can really get into your groove. That's how a planet is in the house that it rules. It's like, yeah, I can really get some stuff done here because this is my home and this is my turf, So if you are a person, even though I said that for the later degree placements, you might not see the expansion of your work and career and life purpose really cooking up until next summer, the exception to that is if your work is in 9th house based things, because then you would have this long prelude to that future expansion with current expansion. So if you're a person who is in international business, if you connect with people internationally in any way, if you deal with different countries, different languages, if you are a person who does speaking or teaching or podcast or sharing information or coaching or healing or religious work, if you're a person that is a writer or a publisher or in a field that includes writing and publishing or anything with sharing information, or if you're a teacher in the formal or informal sense, or if something involving learning, if you put learning packages together, something involving teaching or learning, then you will have noticed that that energy is starting to get brewed up for you, and now you're about to have that just completely blown out of the water for 2 years, okay? Because Jupiter is going to expand that work for you in your 9th house, and then next summer it's going to get into the 10th house. So even the early and middle degree placements are still having for August this huge focus on the 9th house. So the later degree placements have this kind of ongoing focus that is just getting really sparked up now. That's like a prelude for the year to come. But for the month of August, all Sages have a tremendous amount of energy in the 9th house. Early Sages have Venus there, Jupiter is there, Mercury is there, the Sun is there. Venus is going retrograde, so it's working back over old ground. The middle degree placements have some of those planets there in the beginning of the month. The rest of them will be moving in towards the end. So again, 9th house focus. The later degree placements are going to have all of those planets, Jupiter, or not Jupiter, but Venus, Mercury, and the Sun, move in more at the end of August into September, which with every additional planet that you have in a certain house, that's like people at a party. It gets really busy, it gets really loud, it gets really active, and there's all different layers of what each person, or in this case planet, brings to the party. So either in August or coming soon in September, there's this huge party in your 9th house. And just like regular parties are, you know, there's personalities that each of the guests at the party have. There's personalities that the guests have, and there's moods that they're in. So their personalities are shown by what planet it is. Different planets have different personalities. And the sign that the planets are in show the mood that they're in. So the mood that everyone is in at this party is super festive because all these planets are in Leo, and Leo is vibrant, and it's a party time sign, and it rules fun, and it's energetic. So there's just this huge party where your life it can be expanded in the most amazing ways. It brings hope, it brings inspiration, it brings upliftment, it brings breaks. So this is really exciting. You know, anytime there's a bunch of planets that are in a sign that is compatible with your sign, which in this case this is another fire sign, then that just really revs you up and is really encouraging. Now, while all of this is happening, we have Venus in retrograde, bringing us back over things. So there's all this vibrance and things going on, but a lot of the opportunities are going to be things coming from the past or based in the past. If you haven't already listened to my Venus retrograde video, really do that, because there's a massive amount of information that you need to know about Venus being in retrograde that I'm not going to cover in the individual horoscopes. But I cover it at length there. So you can just go to my YouTube channel, Annie Botticelli YouTube, and search for Venus retrograde. So when Venus is in retrograde, it's going back over things. Anytime there's a planet in retrograde, it's like the earthworm. If you don't have Ted Andrews' work, Ted Andrews was an amazing person, and he connected with animals and other occult, whatnots, communicated with things that people don't readily communicate with. And he talks about the earthworm giving us a message to work over old ground and make soil really fertile. That's what earthworms do. If you put earthworms in your garden, they make the soil really fertile. And the earthworms in the compost turn the compost into this awesome soil. It's like working over old ground. So when you have a personal planet that's retrograde, or really any planet that's retrograde, you're supposed to be working over old ground. So Venus rules love and beauty and money. So working over old ground, involving things with love, beauty, and money, as opposed to blazing forward with things, is the way to go. So if things are happening for you, it doesn't mean you can't take opportunities, or it doesn't mean you can't say yes to certain things. Just know that if you have say in it and you are the one that is leading the force, don't initiate things in the retrograde as much as possible unless you're just doing kind of business as usual. You know, if you're dusting off things from the past and breathing some life into them and doing things that you've been doing all along, it's not a time where you can't do anything. It's just a time that lends itself to going through things backwards, where like you had this idea before, or you taught this class before, then you're going to offer it again. Just things that have this strong overtone from the past. Okay, so on August 14th, we have a new moon, and this is the first new moon, and this is the new moon in Leo, so this is more people at the Leo party that we're having, and this is the first new moon in a while that hasn't been encumbered by madness. Usually this new moon has this light, bright, new energy. It's shiny and it's clean and it's exciting and it's a new chapter. For the previous months, we've had just chaos going on at the new moon that's just kind of put a damper on it, but not at this new moon. This new moon is just full and bright and shiny for early and some middle degree placements, or actually really just early degree placements. This is happening again in your 9th house, something new opening with teaching and learning and international business and education and religion and religious studies and pursuits. And for the rest of you, this new moon is happening in the 8th house. And there is actually a very strong energy for some middle degree and then all late degree placements in the 8th house, because all those planets that are in the 9th house for everyone else earlier are in the 8th house. So you still have Jupiter there, you have Venus, you have the Sun, you have Mercury. And the 8th house, and most of you will have this new moon, this new opening, this new chapter in your 8th house. And the 8th house is this deep esoteric house that has everything having to do with other people's money, deep intimacy. It's one of the houses of marriage. It's the houses of merging power. So it also rules, when we say other people's money, it's like you and your spouse's money, family money, in-law money, inheritances, loans, sweepstakes, winnings, debt, credit, all of these things. And also deep esoteric studies are there. So there's something new opening in this house of intimacy, in this house of depth. A lot of strong energy there. Okay, so on August 29th, we have a full moon in Pisces, and Pisces is the sign that rules Sagittarius's solar fourth house. But this is at a really early degree in Pisces, so most of you are going to experience this newness in the third house. I mean, not this newness, this fullness, this completion, this coming to fruition in the third house. So things involving transportation, communication, things involving writing projects, things involving brothers or sisters or relatives that are not your parents or kids, things involving anything having to do with how you transport yourself or communicate. Fullness, something dramatic happening there, something emotional happening there. Full moons are always emotional anyway, but when there's a full moon in a water sign like this is in Pisces, it can be a little bit more emotional. You know, I always say save a little space around that full moon and try to not overschedule yourself even a couple of days before, because this is like, the full moon is like when a dog gets wet and shakes to get the water off of it. The water is representing emotional energy in this instance, and the full moon is when we shake all of the built up emotional energy in our field out. That's what full moons do. That's part of their purpose. So the degree to which we do a good job of clearing emotional energy throughout the month can be directly related to how we experience full moons. That's one layer of truth. Of course, there are other layers of truth depending on how the full moon is hitting off in your personal chart, and aspects that are going on, of course, is more complicated. But humans in general don't do a really good job of clearing their energy field out. You know, I talk about this all the time. It's like we were never taught you have to clear your energy field out just like you clear out your bladder. You drink water, you go pee. You eat food, you go poop. This is what happens. This keeps the systems clear, keeps everything going. We were never taught that you have to clear out this energy field around you, including your emotional field, and you have to clear that out as regularly as you clear out these other things. We need to do that. So consider this month of August. You have until the end of August before this full moon. Put your bare feet and hands in the earth regularly. Breathe deeply, meditate, you know, do visualizations that focus on clearing your energy field, do writing exercises, whatever you have to do to get that cleared out so that things can be more graceful when things come up to a head. There's not as much loose stuff there that has to be shaken off. Okay, so we have two eclipses, and I'm not going to go into a lot of the details of the eclipses until September. That's when they happen, but we can get news from eclipses up to 6 weeks before they actually happen. So that puts us right at the beginning of August. People can start experiencing eclipse news. So there's going to be a lunar eclipse in Aries. There's going to be a solar eclipse in Virgo. And so new energy coming in, depending on the signs, depending on the houses, will be how relevant, you know, what areas of life this information will come in. But you could start to have news coming in that is very surprising, or seems like it's all of a sudden, or is like a prelude of things to come. Many of you are going to be experiencing, well, I don't know if I want to go into all of that right now because that's the eclipses, but for many of you, there's this storyline having to do with home and work that the eclipses are going to bring up, you know, something shifting, something going away, something new opening. And August is the time to prepare yourself for that and just be ready for the news to start to come in. So I can't see what's going on in your personal chart. I'd like very much to. You can see more about my personal coaching by going to my website, aspiritualspark.com, or click in the link below this video, and you can see more about personal coaching. You can see my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine, which has 28 videos, 28 podcasts, one for each day of this moon cycle that you decide you're ready to do this program that helps you clear out the blocks that are interfering with you living in your highest expression. And that's available on a sliding scale. And definitely sign up for my free email newsletter. And I have a new offering which is called Unleash Your Money Magnet, and this is a webinar that is very exciting. It's over 2 hours long. It's power-packed with awesome tips and tricks and massive amounts of work we do in the webinar to help you clear out your programs involving money. So you can see that on my website under my workshops and or webinars and classes link. And I hope you have a wonderful August. Take care. Bye.